You understand yourself better than ever, but yet you don't feel any different. You've tried mindset work, journaling, gratitude practices. They've moved the needle, just not as much as you want. And part of you starts to wonder, is this all there is? Is this all I can improve? What if this is all I can be? What if I told you you could try a different persona on for size, wear it, feel it, move in it, so much so that after a while, it becomes yours. It becomes your new personality. Hi, I'm Dr. Ching Cao. I have a PhD in cognitive neuroscience from Stanford, a retired Latin ballroom vice champion, founder of Firebeat Ballroom Studios in Boston, and Embody Her in Motion. And today, I want to show you the most unconventional yet powerful tool for changing how you feel, embodying a new persona so much that it can change your identity. If you're here, it means you want to be more. You have this inner desire to be the best version that you can be, not from a place of lacking, not from a place of not enoughness. It comes from a place of curiosity, and we've all tried all the things. There's so many ways to be a better version of ourselves. We can be a better physical version. We can be better in relationships. We can be better in our careers. So we seek out the tools in service of how we want to better ourselves. And there aren't a lot of tools out there that helps you change your personality, your feeling state. There are a lot of things that addresses your mindset, cognition, your physical body. But in terms of integrating them and being able to show up as multiple versions authentically as yourself, that's what's unique about embodied movement, specifically Embody Her Emotion. There's so many avenues towards self-improvement. And sometimes it addresses just our mindset and our brain, and we start overanalyzing and we think so much that we become dissociated from our physical experience. We're overanalyzing. I'm here in MIT, Boston area, and we affectionately call it paralysis by analysis. You end up being so heady, and you have a checklist of all the things you need to improve that you stop feeling and being. And this dissociative, this disembodied way of being starts to decenter you from your inner voice, from your inner compass. And that gut instinct, the ability to sense your world, to experience your world, to experience your life so fully, that's what embodiment is to be able to match your internal experiential physical state with your mental, spiritual body. So embodiment is when your internal state and your external being, how you move, how you express, they're the same, they're aligned. It's kind of like I say the inside and the outside matches. Let me give you a few examples. Think about a princess, Grace Kelly. Think about the way she stands and the way she moves and how proper she is and how elegant she is and how poised she is. And that posture conveys grace, elegance, royalty. But conversely, because you're in that physical state, you start to feel expensive and royal and exquisite. So a person's internal state and the physical manifestation of that experience is aligned. Similarly, think about Marilyn Monroe. The way she purses her lips and she starts to whisper and she kind of softens and she likes to kind of do a little cleavage thing. The moment you start to kind of move in that way, like Marilyn Monroe, you can't help but feel sexier and more sensual and a little bit more enigmatic. So embodiment is when your internal world and your experience and your feeling state is so rich that it just oozes out of every pore of your being, that even as you walk, people can sense and feel your presence. And your experience of your own body is in alignment with that internal state. And so being disembodied means your body is giving you a different signal as your mind, and they're kind of interfering with each other. And at the end of the day, you don't have a clear message. You don't have a clear way of being. Now, most of us try to change by addressing the mind. We try to change our narrative. We try to change the way we look at life. We change our perspective. It's very popular to talk about reframing. And all of that is wonderful because you're using your mind to try to change your physical state, downregulation, all of these cognitive reappraisals. And the reverse is true, and neuroscience shows us that if you change your body, it can actually change your mind. I did an entire video on this. I'll link it above. In a nutshell, we're constantly monitoring our physical state. Our physical state is informing our brain, and it interprets how we might be feeling. So if you just change your posture, put a pen in your mouth, even if you're not happy, it tricks your brain into thinking, oh, she must be happy. And that bi-directional relationship between your body and your mind, such that you can change your physical state with your mind. That's the power of the mind. But what about the power of the body? That if you can change the way you move, your posture, how you are in space, it changes your mind. It can change your emotions. And that is the power of being embodied, in which you are completely aligned in how you intend to show up in your life. You've already had experiences in feeling embodied. You have working out, you have fitness, you have dance. All of these practices are somatic practices, ones that bring you back to your body. And if you have the right intention, it can help you be in a different mental state. If you allow yourself to be present in your yoga practices, you will find serenity, peace, calm, a meditative state. But what if you show up in your yoga practice with the wrong intention and you're in your head doing your to-do list? It's a perfunctory. That's a very dissociative experience in which you have shut down your internal compass in service of just producing an external output. If you intentionally go into yoga as a practice for peace and calm, it can change your baseline way of moving through the world. And if you use embodied movement intentionally, it could be a tool to reshape your personality. And EHM leverages the Latin ballroom archetypes, these 5 feminine archetypes that give a range of a very bold, confident woman. And we can tap into those characters, and if you embody how they move and embody how they feel, you can show up in different situations as different versions of yourselves. Much like having all these outfits in your wardrobe that help you show up and feel a certain way. Embodied movement helps you do that so that you can show up in your own way, however way you want, whenever you want, on demand. And with the Latin archetypes, you can choose to feel sassy and flirty like cha-cha, or grounded and earthy like samba, or sensual and sexy and soft like rumba, or committed and convicted and powerful like paso, or just playful and vibrant and just reckless, abandoned joy like in jive. And once you tap into that archetypal energy through the movement, once those feelings become such a part of who you are and part of your emotional vocabulary, you can walk into any situation and show up like that person who you want to be. And in the situations in which it's hard, I need to use tools to get me there in a place that is authentic for me. For example, oftentimes it's really hard for me to shift from work mode to being playful. Being playful is one of the hardest emotional archetypes for me. I tend to be sassy or serious or introverted or nerdy or in leadership. But for me to be silly and playful, that's hard for me. So I need to use tools to get me there in a place that is authentic for me. So when I leave work and I want to show up like that for my kids, and I want to be playful, I don't want to be serious mommy, I don't want to be work mom, I want to be playful. And what is the best way to shift for me is to put on a jive, I hear the music, and I start moving, and I get so playful because that's how I play. I play through jive. And the moment I tap into that energy, all of a sudden I can go with my kids. I'm more vibrant. I shifted my vibrations. And they see it right away. They're like, oh, fun mommy is here. Having these 5 archetypes doesn't mean we lose ourselves. No, we become more. We have choices, and we are intentional about how we feel and how we want to show up for ourselves and for other people. So even if I woke up on the wrong side of the bed, I have tools to get me to where I want to be. Because I don't want to be in a crappy mood. I don't want to be negative. There's a lot of things I don't want to be. But if I have a list of things I can be and tools to get me there, that's the power of embodied movement. And if you're able to shift from these different states fluently, richly, easily, it becomes a choice and you could choose how you walk through your life. So how can you try this for yourself? Think about a situation this coming week that you want to show up a specific way. Maybe you want to be a stronger leader. Maybe you want to be a more playful parent. Maybe you want to be a more sensual, connected partner. Just think about that situation and then think about an actor, an archetype, a role that you would be able to impersonate. So if you need to be a little bit funny, Jim Carrey or Mr. Bean. If you want to be a little bit more sensual and seductive, think Sophia Loren or whoever is easy for you to impersonate. And for 5 minutes, without anyone looking, just be in your closet, go somewhere and just walk and talk and move like that person. And inventory how it makes you feel. Because the more you try to impersonate that person, especially the way they move, it can change the way you feel. And that's what EHM is about. It's not performative because you're doing this for your own feeling. These Latin archetypes, cha-cha, samba, rumba, paso, jive, they are a wonderful range of colors that you can bring into your life. And with these 5 archetypes, you can really show up in your world in the most colorful and vibrant of ways. And if you want to know which of these 5 women that you most desire in you right now, I've created a quiz for just that. It's called Have You Met Her Quiz. And you can find it in the link below. Answer a bunch of yes/no questions, and it will spit out the archetype that you most want to be or you most desire at the moment. And it will give you an idea of what patterns you want to start adopting so that you can reshape your personality. And after the quiz, come back. I'm going to have other videos doing a deep dive in all of these archetypes. So I can't wait to talk to you next. Please like and subscribe below so that you can embody you in motion. I can't wait to dance with you.